So you want me to open? Because I can open.
How would you open?
Like this. You're listening to Words About Books, the only podcast on the entire internet that will sell themselves for very, very cheaply to read things that they really don't want to. I'm Nate, and this week, Ben's the one who has to read more Star Wars Thrawn. How was that? How's it going?
That was okay, but I'm going to put that before the opening theme because that's not how we're opening this episode. It is a period of crushed rebellions and runaway military spending. Emperor Palpatine, bored with a total and unchecked domination, decides to start randomly pairing off his subordinates based on fan popularity polls. In the remote corners of the galaxy, someone is doing a Force thing, and that's usually worth checking out. The Dark Lord of the Sith summons Darth Vader and Mithron Naruto to his bedchambers for a late-night rendezvous.
Ben stopped talking, so I assume that...
Yep, that's over.
Okay.
Yep. That's going to dodge copyright. I don't think YouTube's going to recognize that as the Star Wars opening crawl. But the listener will know. So yes, I'm back with Thrawn. A couple of things before we get into this. I'd like to thank the listeners who graciously bought many a coffee, insisting that I read another Thrawn book, that you were unspecific as to which Thrawn book, and so the next part is kind of your fault too.
I love this part.
I kind of read the wrong Thrawn book. I had intended, and indeed, I even tweeted a picture of me receiving... I got the box set of the new Thrawn trilogy, and I tweeted them in order. And then I don't know what happened, but somehow I set them on my desk with, like, the second one first. And when I was like, okay, time to read Thrawn, I just picked it up and started reading it.
Your cat jumped up there and mixed up all the books.
Yeah, and I was 400 pages into... 400 of like 430 into Thrawn Alliances before I realized there was another book sitting on my desk that was just called Thrawn. And I thought it was weird that the first book should be called Thrawn Alliances and another book later in the series would just be called Thrawn. And sure enough...
Well, that's his political campaign.
Yeah.
Thrawn.
I was wrong. So I read the second book of Timothy Zahn's new canon Thrawn series. Now, you might be wondering, how did I not notice this earlier?
I am wondering that, actually.
There are references to events that happened before the story. I just assumed it was from, like, the Rebels cartoon or something. Like, Vader keeps nettling Thrawn about this, like, loss he suffered at Tolan, and I'm like... that's cartoon nonsense. I don't care. And I just kept going. And then I was like, oh, I bet that was the first book. I bet that's why he keeps bringing that up. So I did check it out. I looked for I didn't look for a summary because I do plan on going back and reading the other book because I technically promised I would read that book. But again, we were non-specific and that's as much your fault as it is mine. So I don't think they're like a proper trilogy in the sense that they are direct sequels to one another. I think they just are chronological in Thrawn's timeline. So each one is like a little slice of Thrawn life, you know?
Is this part of the Thrawn trilogy or the Thrawn Ascendancy trilogy?
I think it's part of the Thrawn trilogy. I've been seeing Thrawn Ascendancy. I have no idea what that is.
So this is the original trilogy then. And then like the prequel trilogy.
Okay. This is the original canon Disney trilogy.
No, wait, you're right. This would be like the prequels of Star Wars. This would be the second.
Well, and it's funny that you mentioned that.
Trilogy. Oh dear. Oh gosh.
Because this takes place about 50% in the prequels.
Yeah, you mentioned that Padme was there and something about Darth Vader's cyborg penis, and I don't know
I didn't mention.
I don't know where that.
anything
Well, your
about
wife
his-
did.
Oh, she might have.
I assume she was reading along with you. You know,
She
as
was
she
forced to listen to some parts, as were you, as you two were playing video games without me, and I was reading in the background to try to get this done.
Hey, we invited you to play.
Yeah, but I had a book to read. How do you want to do this? Do you want me to give you the summary? I don't know what the listeners... What do you think the listeners would like more?
Yeah, let's do it like the summary, like how I did a summary last time.
Okay.
When I did the duology.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
All right, you got this.
Emperor Palpatine has sensed a call to adventure in the Force.
And he uses the word man a lot.
He does. On the first page, he says men like 20 times. And it's like, why are you saying men so much? That's weird. I will say it gets better. That was a needless concern. He doesn't do that the whole time. But Palpatine's not there very long.
Okay. All right.
He thinks that this call to adventure he's sensed in the Force will be a perfect test for both of the Empire's most popular protagonists. Vader.
He pulls out his popularity poll, and who's on top?
Vader needs to face his past and bury Anakin Skywalker once and for all. Thrawn is fresh off a defeat from what I had assumed were cartoon characters, but are actually probably book characters, thus elevating them to importance. Palpatine wants Thrawn to prove that he won't choose the Chiss over the Empire. We're mentioning that he's part of the Chiss Ascendancy in this one.
Yeah, wow, because they have yet to do that in any of the non-canon legends that we've read for the podcast.
Yes.
I assume because they didn't know what Thrawn even was, so...
Yeah, exactly. He was just an alien-looking guy. So, Thrawn and Vader...
So I have to stop you there. What is the relationship between the Chiss and the Empire?
That's a complicated question.
We'll have to get out our geopolitical...
I would probably know more of the answer to that if I'd read the first book. Essentially, I think Thrawn is exiled from the Chiss community for some reason, but he still has a soft spot for his people, which makes him a much more nuanced and relatable character, actually. I like Thrawn a lot more in this book.
Oh my god.
He's coming into it with some background and some conflicts. Like
he's not just the bad guy?
No, he's in fact the best guy in the book.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, he's next to the Emperor and Vader, so...
Well, Thrawn is portrayed as a guy who just likes order and logic and wants a place where he can put his skills to use. And he finds that in the Empire. But he runs his ship different. You know, he's not killing people. So
and that's weird in the Imperial Navy.
Let me give you the pitch here. So Thrawn and Vader have to go to the ass end of the galaxy to find, quote unquote, a disturbance in the Force. That's all they're given.
That's the plan.
That's all they're given. Go to the
you were
unknown
not
regions.
kidding when you said he sensed a call to adventure and said, "Well,
literally, he
off
senses
you go."
a disturbance in the Force. He gives them no information beyond that. So he sends Vader, presumably because Vader will be able to sense what he sensed, and Thrawn because because it's next to the Chiss. That's what he wants to test. I think he senses that. We'll find out as the book goes on that the Emperor probably sensed more Chiss involvement in this, and he knows Thrawn is going to have to skirt maybe treason if he wants to use Imperial resources to help his people without authorization, maybe.
Well, there's your first problem. You are not allowed to help anyone with Imperial resources. Help should be taken out of your vocabulary.
So this is a real odd couple scenario, Nathaniel. So like Thrawn believes in respecting his subordinates' opinions, not punishing good faith mistakes, encouraging people to speak up if they think he's made a mistake. Whereas Vader killed a barista this morning for spelling his name wrong on the cup. He then killed the barista supervisor for hiring incompetent help, and he killed the person in front of him for ordering soy milk, as lactose intolerance is a sign of both physical and moral weakness.
So, my question here is, are they going on one, like, Star Destroyer or something?
They're taking the Chimera. The Chimera's back.
So, does that mean Thrawn is in charge and Vader's his subordinate then? Or what's the command structure?
The Emperor arranges the command structure for maximum petty bitchness.
He wouldn't be the Emperor if he did anything else.
Thrawn is in charge of the ship and all the ship stuff. Vader is in charge of all the ground troops and the ground stuff.
Oh, God, it is just like real life, the Army and the Navy. Who's going to get to Japan first? What way are we going to go? Oh, God.
Play that clip from a Few Good Men where it's like, I love you, Navy boys. Every time we need to go fight something, you guys always give us a ride.
Yeah, he does. He is like, how can I feel more dissent?
Vader is given what I assume would be relevant to people who know a lot more about the canon than I do. Vader is put in charge of the 501st Stormtrooper Legion.
The Death something. Death Riders? Death's Head?
I don't care. So they're like really good Stormtroopers. So that you know that like the ones in the movie that are bumbling incompetents are the average Stormtrooper.
That's good. Let's retcon it.
These are the good ones, so they're allowed to.
Vader's fist. Oh dear.
Yeah, they're not called that in this book. So
that's kind of funny because I mean I unfortunately saw, what was it, Rogue One, where like a blind guy takes him out, like the stormtroopers. Stormtroopers were defeated by a blind man with a stick.
Was that Donnie Yen?
I don't know. I don't know who anyone is.
I think that was Donnie Yen. I did watch that one. I liked Rogue One. It wasn't terrible.
I didn't, but
I liked it because everyone died at the end.
Well, okay, I did like that part. There's a lot else that I didn't like, though.
You know, like I want like old Leia to go to the people in Rogue One and be like, "But hope, the rebellion is built on hope." And your bodies, your dead, incinerated bodies. It's also built on that.
Thanks for taking the bullet, idiots.
Thanks for daring to hope. So there's one more wrinkle, though, in this pairing, Nathaniel.
Uh-oh.
Wait,
hold on. Before you say anything, is Pelion here?
No, Pelion's gone. He's been replaced with a Commodore Pharaoh, who is...
A Commodore? Does he have the hat?
I don't know. I don't know what a Commodore is, and it's a she.
Does she have the big poofy hat? She pulls out her telescope and goes, "My word, those ships are coming in close. Man the port cannons!"
She says things like that, but in space. So, I don't know. Maybe.
Alright, sorry, what was this wrinkle?
Okay, so the wrinkle is, this is not the first time Thrawn and Vader have met.
Oh my god.
During the Clone Wars, Thrawn and Anakin Skywalker worked together to save Padme from a separatist factory or something in the
I saw the Clone Wars.
In the exact same area where the Force is now being disturbed.
Oh. Is it her corpse? Is her corpse disturbing the Force?
No, we know where she died on near Mustafar.
Well, they
I
could
think
have shot her out of a torpedo too. Okay, all right. So you mentioned this to me, and you also said, like, Vader would obviously know who Thrawn was. Does Thrawn know who Vader is?
So basically.
Does he deduce it?
Because he's Thrawn. He deduces it. He's not supposed to know.
And he was like, yes.
Yeah,
Anakin Skywalker also drew like an angsty teenager.
So, yeah, he's not supposed to know, though. Apparently the going story is that Anakin Skywalker is dead and Darth Vader is a totally different person.
Yeah, because Obi-Wan did that, and we have to justify that.
Yeah. So, apparently, we're canonically uncomfortable with that just being a lie told to a teenager by a religious cult leader in an attempt to trick him into murdering his own father?
Yeah, I don't see why we'd be uncomfortable about that.
Everybody thinks Anakin Skywalker is dead, and everybody pretends that he is. Even Vader, in his own mind, pretends that Anakin Skywalker's dead.
That's compartmentalization on a whole new level. Rin should have taken notes.
He always refers to his memories of Anakin as the Jedi did that.
Oh, okay.
Not me.
The Jedi.
So the story is going to cut between the past and present as Vader and Thrawn revisit their old stomping grounds. And I gotta say, it works pretty well, actually. Kind of. As I'm going to struggle in the summary to differentiate between what happened in the past and what happened in the future.
Well, one of them is a Jedi and one of them is a Sith, Ben.
Yeah.
I don't see what's so hard about that.
But, they kind of do this since they're fighting neutral adversaries in the unknown regions. We're kind of allowed to root for Vader and Thrawn to work together and accomplish a goal.
So they're not just slaughtering rebels left and right.
Yeah, I mean, they're slaughtering locals or native of the unknown regions, but they're going to make it better at the end. Kind of.
Okay.
We're allowed to root for them. That's all I'm going to say. We're allowed to root for them.
They're going to make it better at the end. Like, are you saying, like, the Emperor man's burden, or are you like...
No.
Okay. All right.
They're going to make it
for a moment.
They're going to make it so that all the locals they're killing, all the people out in the unknown regions who they wind up fighting, they were actually planning on attacking the Empire.
Okay, so it turns out they're all cannibal rapists. It's okay
it's
to
self-defense,
root for them to die.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. It's preemptive self-defense.
It's proactive self-defense.
Let's do this.
So, let me see. So they do this kind of Sherlock Watson routine. Only in this one, it's like if Watson gets fed up with Sherlock's bullshit, he's gonna kill him with his mind. Which, if Watson could have done in the Sherlock stories, he probably would have. So that's actually fun to watch. That's a neat little twist on what I thought their relationship would be. And it's a good foil to Thrawn as well, because he is smarter than Vader. He's smarter than everyone because he's Thrawn. But at some point, Thrawn can't really talk his way out of shit with Vader. Like, if Vader doesn't feel like he understands... Like, Thrawn can only keep so many secrets because Vader is like, if you don't tell me, I'm just going to kill you and everyone on this ship.
And he'll do it, too, because he's known for that.
There's very little Thrawn can do to stop him. So...
So does he have to, like, be selective in how he reveals the information that he's trying to keep secret to keep as much to the vest as he can?
Yes. He doesn't necessarily want to keep things to the vest, or close to his chest, because he genuinely liked Anakin Skywalker.
Oh my god, that's a first. I guess you're supposed to like him, but
yeah.
No, he was a whiny douche.
He's trying to leverage their past relationship, but like not understand. I mean, he's really appealing to Vader's like sense of trust and like generosity, and he's really not understanding sometimes like just how far gone Vader is. But at the same time, Vader kind of doesn't want to give that up. That somebody still sees something more to him than just a rage monster.
Maybe if he plays his cards right, he might get a little kiss from Thrawn.
It, like Sherlock and Watson, the romantic tension is there.
Perfect. I'd be disappointed if it wasn't.
So Vader and Thrawn each bring their own children into the marriage, which is the crew of the Chimera and the 501st Stormtroopers. These characters will make up our, like, B plot as they slowly interact, and, like, the crew of the Chimera is super nervous that Vader's there because, like, Thrawn suggests something and the Commodore is like, with all due respect, Commander, I actually think we could do this faster if we went this, this, and this. And Thrawn is like, good suggestion. And Vader is like, do you want me to kill her? Or do you need my laser sword? Like, she interrupted you. And the 501st is like, oh my god, you guys get to like live after your missions? Yeah. There's also a Nagri.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know how they retconned that shit or reworked that shit. Probably should have read the first book. Because obviously they weren't loyal to Vader, you know? The Nagri is explicitly loyal to Thrawn and dismissive of Vader.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and presumably this new Thrawn is not pretending to poison their planet. The new Thrawn is much more likable.
Yeah. Okay,
He's
that's
very
good.
likable, yeah. So, yeah, the Vader's crew is on their fourth commander, I think, because Vader demoted the first two and had them sent away, and then court-martialed the third.
Oh, okay.
So these two groups of people, like, need to learn to work together, as they're often left in charge when Vader and Thrawn go for their romantic walks on the planet.
Okay.
Okay. Now, smash cut. Meanwhile, back in the Clone Wars. What? You didn't know that was coming.
Meanwhile?
Yeah, well, in the before times. I don't know how you want to do it. So, like, chapter switch. New chapter, new perspective. We're back in the Clone Wars. Padme gets a call from her old handmaid, Duja. Duha? I don't know.
Dujak. Durag?
Dujak. So, Duja found something big in the unknown regions, and she needs Padme to come right away.
Oh my god.
Now, you know how Padme and her handmaidens were like super tight for 5 seconds in the movie?
And then they blew up, and then Padme was like, "It's time for me to ditch robes."
No, they even talk about the one that blew up because one that blew up was like her best friend, and then she and Duja like mourned her together, so they're very tight. They bonded over her death, and
we roasted marshmallows over her corpse before we put her in the ground, and we ate those marshmallows to absorb her power. That's
what I've done at every wake I've ever attended.
Okay. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah, so Padme's got to go help Duja in the ass end of the galaxy. Now, General Anakin Skywalker.
I love the fucking ranks at Star Wars. Just handing out ranks left and right.
He can't accompany her because he's got important general stuff to do, what with the Republic being currently at war. Now, as a senator, Padme is free to walk away from Congress at any time for any reason.
And not actually, like, vote or anything like that. I'm not actually joking. Senators ignore their jobs all the time here in the United States, for those who are foreign listeners. It's kind of a problem, really, but...
Yeah, so... She's got to go by herself, but she promises she'll write. Oh, and by the way, Anakin and Padme are much more, like, romantic in this one.
And, like, they were written by, like, someone who understood basic human relationships.
Yeah, Timothy's, like, okay, I'll put it this way. Timothy Zahn is not, like, the romance guy I would go to write my intimate partner love story, but yeah, it reads like a human being wrote it and not whatever George Lucas is. Like, they at least seem to like each other.
Hey, do you not remember the sand scene, sir?
I do. You quote it all the time.
The sand is so rough, but here it's so smooth.
Not like here. Here everything is soft and smooth.
Ah, crime romance.
I'm haunted by the kiss that you should never have given to me. That's how people talk, you weird old man.
It makes me remember the Red Letter Media. Now keep staring at my exposed midriff, you fucking idiot.
So... They're going to continue, like, the adventure they had in the past very clearly and closely mirrors the adventure they're having in the present, because it's like poetry, it rhymes.
Instead of destroying the Death Star, he destroys the ship that controls the robots. Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
So who comes down with Thrawn and Vader wearing a midriffless captain's uniform or whatever?
Oh, no, we'll get to that.
Okay, alright.
Okay, so Padme goes to this planet, right?
Right.
And the planet, this is really important. Maybe important's not the right word. Time consuming. The planet has like 5 parking spots.
Oh, all right.
This comes up all the time.
Is it so that it's easier for you to quickly, like, okay, well, she didn't land over there, so she's at the 5th place.
No.
Oh.
No. So there's like these, it's this barely settled world in the middle of nowhere. There's like 5 trading posts on the whole planet. The whole planet has a population of like 10,000.
And they decide to colonize all over the place instead of, like, together.
Well, I don't know. I have no clue. I'm guessing there's different resources they trade at different locations. It's not that well thought through. The point is, there are only 5 places to land anywhere on this planet, and everywhere else is like dense forest.
You can't carve out dense forest with laser
They did.
blasts?
They carved out 5 spots.
Oh. Okay. All right.
She gets there and she parks her ship and she heads to the local saloon to get her quests.
I can't imagine Padme in a fucking saloon.
I think she orders white wine. So
get out of here.
Padme finds Duja. Here's the problem though. She's laying dead in a casket outside the bar, like it's literally the Old West. And like, they're like, does anybody know this dead woman?
We can't bury her unless someone is going to pay for the burial fee.
Yeah, so Padme talks to the bar guy, and he describes...
Duja's been dead for 4 months. How could she have sent that transmission?
No, she's been dead for a couple days.
Okay, that's unfortunate.
She's been dead for a couple of days, and the bar guy describes several local varieties of alcohol to her. And she orders something akin to white wine. And then she's
like... all very important.
She's pretending that she's there to sell the ship she showed up in. That's what...
And then live there on that planet?
No, somebody's coming to pick her up. So she's like delivering the ship and then somebody's coming to pick her up. Why they couldn't... It doesn't make sense. It's the worst excuse in the world and nobody buys it. So she very clearly knows who Duja is and Duja is dead because somebody killed her. And she's like, hey, I'm going to go sing a funeral song as is Naboo custom. Get a little culture there for you. That's a little world building, Nate.
Oh, thank God. I was really concerned about Naboo, that planet that shows up in 2 of the 3 movies, and then we just never think about it again.
It's a peaceful planet. They have no army. No, that's Alderaan. Shit. What is Naboo's
Naboo
thing?
has a private security force that has like 5 guys in it, and they're really bad. I mean, the worst of the battle droids easily defeats them in a matter of minutes. But yeah, go on.
So she's going to go off and she's going to find Duja's ship. Cut back to, the time between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. Vader is...
A New Hope, Ben.
Star Wars.
Thank you, Ben.
Vader has come aboard the Chimera and things are awkward. He brings up the fact that Thrawn got beat by the Jedi, the cartoon rebels.
He puts his suitcase in Thrawn's room, and Thrawn's like, this is my room, and Vader's like, well, I mean, I already unpacked my stuff, so, like, maybe you could move while I'm here? I'm a guest on your ship.
It's not quite that bad, but there is actually, like, they make them park further away from the command deck so that they have to, like, walk further from their ship, and it's very petty and
bitch.
Weird. Yeah, and Thrawn and Vader, like, Vader keeps bringing up the fact that Thrawn failed in the previous book, I imagine, and Thrawn is, like, just letting it go, but, like, all the Thrawn's crews, like, we shouldn't have to take that from Vader, and then they remember that Vader can read minds, and they run away.
Yeah, we shouldn't have to take that from him and his laser sword and space magic. Oh, yeah, I guess we have to.
Yeah. The guy who commands the stormtroopers is named Kimmond, and the Nogri is named Rook.
Oh my God, he's back.
Is that the same guy?
That's the same guy. Run, Thrawn. Run, he's gonna stab you in like 20 years.
Yeah, so Rook is being ordered to like spy on the stormtroopers, and he's got this invisibility cloak, and he keeps sneaking into their ship.
Yeah, it's a fucking invisibility cloak. Okay.
And they keep like it's like slapstick. Rook keeps sneaking in, and they keep tossing him out.
Jar Jar is a key to all this. If we get Jar Jar working, because he's a funnier character than we've ever had in any of the movies.
like Jazz from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah, and it's like they gotta find him. Like, how is he getting in here? And what is he doing? And, yeah, right off the bat, the management styles clash. Somebody suggests a faster way to get to the place, and Vader's like, kill her now, and it goes on. So
yeah, you mentioned that.
Things are going well until they get like a reasonable space distance away from the planet, and they're yanked out of hyperspace.
Oh my god, but that's where I was.
But here's the crazy thing. There is no large mass or gravity well generating ship anywhere nearby.
Oh my god.
How did they get pulled out of hyperspace?
It's a disturbance in the Force. Am I close?
No.
Damn.
And so we don't know what's going on, and everybody's like,
the game is afoot, dear Darth Watson.
Oh god, he should have said that. That would have been so much better. So they're like, yeah, we got to get to I think the planet they're trying to get to is called, and thank you, Timothy Zahn, for your collections of consonants that are unpronounceable to anyone but yourself. One of the planets they're trying to get to is Mokivj.
Okay. All right.
Mokivj? Mokivj?
I'm looking at the Mokivj.
Yes.
Mokivj.
They can't. They're like, oh, we got to space hop all the way there. It's going to take forever. Let's go to Batu and see if we can get another space lane. None of this means anything. This is just stupid sci-fi space talk. So that's the thing, though. Batu is actually the world that Padme went to find Duja.
Oh my god, are they gonna go down to the space saloon and order a milk for Thrawn and, I guess, blood of his enemies for Vader?
Yeah, and so, they go there, and Vader's real weird about it. He's like,
I don't want to go there.
I want to go there.
It's not even going to be that much faster.
I'm going into my room, and I'm not coming out until we're gone, okay?
yeah, because Commodore Pharaoh's like, we're not going to bunny hop the whole way there. We're going to take the shorter route. And Vader's like,
That's only 2 hours faster.
and Thrawn's like, okay, it's 2 hours, man.
Yeah. You know who we work for, right? Like, he values speed and efficiency. Like,
Oh god, do they both keep bringing up who they work for and who serves him better and who does he like more and who gets to sit next to him at lunch? Oh my god.
Does Vader ever say, you know how the Emperor feels about non-humans?
No, but they do bring up the casual racism a lot.
Is Thrawn a Grand Admiral at this point?
Yeah?
Okay.
Whatever the hell that means.
It means he should be commanding more than one ship and shouldn't be sent deep into enemy territory, but whatever.
Okay, they do mention that he is commanding more than one ship. But for this mission, it's just him and the Chimera.
Okay.
He had to
Makes
leave somebody
sense.
else in command of his fleet. So, Timothy's on. He's got me there. I can't pick on him for that. Okay, so they're going to go to that Batu planet. And same deal, man. There's like 5 parking spaces on the whole planet.
Wow. They never added a 6th one in all this time.
No.
Okay.
And it's really full. Like, why are there 4 other people here? There shouldn't be 4 other people here. Why is business popping on Batu? And Vader's like trying to park. Like, Vader's
Not where
piloting.
I thought this was going to go.
Vader's piloting the ship, right? And so he's like trying to park and he's going to put it down. And Thrawn's like, I don't know, man, that's a tight fit. And Vader's like,
Obi-Wan said in the first movie that I was one of the best starfighter pilots he ever knew, so that's canonically part of my character.
And he parallel parks that thing like nothing.
Oh, I thought he was going to say, shut up, Dad, you're not the boss of me.
No, Vader parallel parks like it ain't nobody's business. Okay,
Oh
now
my
here's where
God.
things get a little
I
weird.
can't imagine anyone parking a Star Destroyer.
It's not a Star Destroyer. They take another ship. They don't park
Oh,
them.
that's unfortunate. But okay, that makes a lot more.
Yeah, they leave the Chimera in space. They take another ship down. I think they take the... Vader's got some, like... This is another petty bitch moment from Vader. Vader's personal ship, I think, is like an old separatist ship that he captured. And he drives it around just to remind everybody that he won, except, you know, Anakin's supposed to be dead, so...
And did
What?
he name it the Better Than the Chimera?
I don't know what he
The
named it.
Chimera Plus?
Oh, another thing I wanted to mention. So, you know how they have all the toys now?
Right?
Okay, everything is named. It's
Well, of course.
the B1 blaster, or the B5 blaster, or the B11 blaster, or the B2D whatever armored
yeah.
battle droid. Yeah, so everything has a name now. Every fucking ship is a something class whatever dude.
Perfect. That's the kind of detail I appreciate.
Just in case you wanted to, like, reenact this.
Let's go get
With
the
your-
toys,
With
man.
your toys, you could go get the the appropriate action figures, and you could reenact it yourself. Okay, anyway, so this is where things are getting fuzzy for me, because the two timelines overlap really closely.
Oh my god. Do they go down there and Duja's still inside of a casket? And they're like, oh, I recognize her.
You know, they never say what happened to Duja's body. They mention, like Padme mentions, like, I can't let anybody know I was her friend, even though you're sitting there singing a fucking funeral dirge over her. They're gonna assume, but yeah, I don't know. I assume they picked it up on the way back or something. I don't care. So we're going back to the Clone Wars now. So Padme finds Duja's ship, and there's like some pre-programmed course in Duja's ship. And then I think people start shooting at Padme. I'm unclear what the impetus to leave was, but so Padme's getting shot at repeatedly. And she launches Duja's ship, and like the flight plan is locked in, and she's like, so I'm going to go see where Duja was going with all
And
this.
it's like a sun. Just flies her right into a
For,
sun.
for whoever stole her ship, she's like, I'm setting a trap. No, it's going to go to Mokivj.
Okay.
Oh, God. Timothy Zahn, what the fuck?
So wait, why did Vader and Thrawn even go down to that planet? If they're just here to, like, bunny hop to Mokivj.
Oh, he sensed a disturbance in the Force or
God
some
damn
shit.
it.
The usual, like he sensed it
Okay.
down there. There's something down there.
There's a plot point down there.
Yeah.
Dr. Cecil H.H. Mills says that I need to go to that planet, and so I will.
So, Vader, no, what are you doing? You messed me up.
So we're back to Padme.
Padme
She
is
punches
being,
it in her
yeah, she
friend's
punches
ship.
it, and she's going to Mokivj, and then that's the end of that chapter.
Oh,
so a lot more stuff happened. I think the fighting was a little bit more intense than I may have led you to believe. And also, I think it was like robots or separatists or something. The separatists are involved, okay? I don't know. Maybe Duja left something. I don't know. Point is, we're going to Mokivj, and Padme knows it's separatist shenanigans.
Those wacky separatists.
Yeah, what are they going to do this time? So, okay, now we're back to Thrawn and Vader. It's like poetry rhymes. They're going down to the planet, and they go down to the planet, and
And they get shot at, but then Vader kills everyone instead of running away.
So there's like some convention of big dudes in town. It's this alien species. I forget their name. All I remember about them is they're big. They got long arms. They got claws, and they carry ceremonial daggers. And there's I'm really probably underselling the amount of analysis Thrawn had to do to figure all that out. Now, I mean, they could obviously observe that they were big and had claws. Vader got that. But then Thrawn was the one who put together Vader's like, they wear this
Weapon on their belt, and when I see a weapon, I feel threatened, and I might have to stand my ground.
and
Okay, Vader.
well, that's when Thrawn is like, well, you can clearly tell by the markings on the belt and the length of the blade, and that each blade is personalized and probably only used for ritual combat, and that's why they're obviously a ceremonial dagger. And it's like, yeah, you could have just said it looked fancy. I don't care. They got ceremonial daggers. Do you know? Oh, no, wait, I forget that is a plot point. Yes, okay. So here's they got ceremonial daggers. Vader's sensing some Junji Ito shit in the Force. There's like a dark thing that's afraid, that's like whatever, and so they go to the main town.
Fear leads to anger, and anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering. So he's gonna go make that thing suffer for being afraid.
Anger is like a child. You don't want to let it drive the car, and you certainly don't want to stuff it in the trunk either.
We've been recording for 50 minutes. We're maybe halfway through this.
We're getting a solid episode out of this, Ben. 90 minutes or bust. All right.
Okay. Rally, Ben. Come on. Okay. Second wind. All right. So they go to the town, right? And they go to the bar. Same bar. Wait, am I telling this out of order? I don't care.
Who cares?
So they go to the bar. They go to the bar, and the bar guy recognizes Thrawn. And he's like, oh, what the hell do you want? And Thrawn's like, hey, just information, just hanging out, just here on a little errand, little space errand. And he's like, is the other guy with you this time? And he looks at Darth Vader and he's like, nope, he's dead.
Cyborg.
He's like, nope, he's dead. And the bar guy is like, thank God. Okay, so they're talking to the bar guy, and there's a bunch of these guys with like their little ceremonial knives, and they're hanging around. And they talk to the bar guy. He's being real fishy, real weaselly. And he's like, look, man, I don't want any trouble, man. And I think the big dudes surround the place and they start shooting. They like fill it with gas or something. They start shooting and they shoot, I'm not making this up, they shoot bees at him.
What?
Okay, but these aren't like your ordinary bees, right? They shoot these insects at him, in addition to lasers. But the insects they shoot, they fly right at a person, and then they burst on him. They like kamikaze burst on the person, and where they burst, there's some like fast solidifying cement. So they're trying to encase them all in cement.
Okay.
And Thrawn is like shooting, and Vader's like winging bolts off his lightsaber, and then Thrawn gets hit with the old like somehow his arm gets stuck like up, like with the gun pointed up, and he gets like cement blocked into that, and so he has to bend at the waist to try to shoot. And they present that as Thrawn being like quick thinking, and not that being like comedically ridiculous. And Vader realizes he's getting cemented in, and he just starts force winging people all over the place. And
why didn't you do that to begin with?
Yeah, I mean, well, because Thrawn was like, we need to take prisoners, and Vader's like, fine, I guess.
Well, you could take one guy. I mean, look, if I had Vader powers, as soon as people surround and start shooting at me, I'm just gonna start throwing buildings at them.
Yeah. Yeah, so Anyway, I think they kind of win. And then there were these 3 creepy houses when they were walking down the
Should have
street.
thrown those.
There were 3 creepy houses. 2 of them blow up. And then the third, like, shoots into space or something. I forget.
What?
So that was the disturbance in the forest. The disturbance in the forest was in the middle house. And they blew up the 2 houses to cover them, like, evacuating the third. I don't know, man.
Huh?
So
it flies into space, but, like, there's a giant Star Destroyer up there.
No, the house is fine.
Oh.
So there's a spaceship behind the house that, like, takes whatever force disturbance was in the house and, like, shoots it into space. And Vader and Thrawn poke around the house, and there were obviously people living there. It's more of those, like, ceremonial guys. Oh, but the ceremonial dagger guys, so they kick one of them over, right? And his ceremonial dagger is clearly fake. Somehow,
God.
he lost his real ceremonial dagger. I hope you're taking notes and putting these pieces together behind the scenes, kids. So, yeah, a ship goes into space. Oh, God.
This is what your hard-earned money paid for, guys. That moment where Ben gives up on everything.
Oh, God. Which fight is this? There's so many similar fights. I don't know which is which. I think there's a bunch of... Oh, that's right. This is why the parking matters. Okay.
Okay. Good. We're paying that one off.
Set up and payoff. Classic storytelling. Okay. There's a bunch of ships in space because they can't park because Vader took their spot.
Okay.
I think they were the ones that were supposed to, like, get the shipment or something of whatever this force disturbance is. So the Chimera and the Stormtroopers, they have to act quick. And there's what is probably a reference to the previous book in that Thrawn is advocating for these different kind of TIE fighters called TIE Defenders.
Okay.
And, okay, this is how they're described. And you'll have to tell me. You're a more military tactical person than I am. The TIE Defender has more shielding and more firepower. But for some reason it's more unwieldy.
Okay.
Than the TIE Fighter, and so people don't like it.
Okay. Does it describe anything else about it?
Well, does it matter? Because they're in space.
Like it may not be unwieldy. It just looks dumb, and maybe they're like, I don't want to fly this dumb looking.
Is this a picture of a TIE Defender?
It's got 3 wings surrounding
They do mention that. They do mention that. Okay, yeah. So I think in this battle, the TIE Defenders saved the Stormtroopers.
Why are the
I think I remember what happened.
out there?
I think I remember what happened. Shh. I remember what happened. So the ship takes off, right? From the planet. And Vader's like,
Kill it with fire.
and Thrawn's like, maybe we should let it go and try to follow it or something. Vader's like,
I am ordering my stormtroopers to take their ships and to get out there and kill it with fire.
and Thrawn is like, well, I am ordering my ship to let it go. And Vader's like,
If you don't let my stormtroopers out, I am going to crush your skull like a goddamn melon.
and Thrawn is like, fine. And so the stormtroopers, they go out and they board one of the ships. There's a bunch of ships fighting them now. I think it was some of the ones that couldn't get in because Vader was parked in their spot. And they're fighting. The stormtroopers managed to board one. There's these weird aliens in there called, oh boy, I should have remembered that. Grist? Gristle?
Grisks.
Grisks. That's what they're called. So there's these grisks in there.
That
And
sounds
they're pretty
gross and greasy.
Yeah, they're pretty good at fighting though. And
But this is the 501st, sir. These aren't your ordinary stormtroopers. This is Vader's fist.
yeah, so they're transporting these things off the planet.
Okay.
And the Grisks, they capture one of the ships, but the Grisks are able to blow up the cargo hold. And the stormtroopers are about to get their asses kicked, but then Thrawn's people take it upon themselves to go save the stormtroopers under Commodore Pharaoh's orders.
Okay, and they use the TIE Defenders.
Yes, and the TIE Defenders perform quite well, and so that's important.
Okay.
To what I assume
it's
is...
important, but we will never see them ever again.
Oh no, we'll see them a lot.
Well, not in the
actually.
movies, because those have already been filmed. They didn't exist, so... Shut up. I have no idea what we're doing. We were going to one planet, we got stalled on this planet, they're flying buildings that are flying away into space, and
I made up the building flying. There was a spaceship behind the building that they loaded the shit into.
Oh, that's not as funny. But it makes more sense. But it's like, okay...
And
all
by
right,
the way,
what
this is just carrying on the proud tradition of Thrawn books where a guy goes to a place to do a thing and then goes to another place to do a thing. But you know what's more satisfying about this book, Nate? You know what's more satisfying about this one? There's fewer guys.
That was my complaint about the duology, where there were about 12 to 15 POVs.
Yes, they're not trying to do every single character from the movies this time.
They should have had an episode of Luke just being a baby on Tatooine.
You know what? As I'm describing it, this sucks. Okay?
you ranked it pretty highly.
I ranked it pretty high because it's so much better than the others. It's actually not that bad to read. Let me pause here and talk about a few of the things I liked. It's not that bad to read because what I like about it is the developing relationship between Thrawn and Vader. Thrawn and Vader, when they're on page together, they're great. I love their dynamic. I love the Sherlock Watson thing they're doing. And I kind of love it ironically, but also genuinely. Like, it's funny to imagine Darth Vader having to hang out with Sherlock Holmes. And having to put up with Sherlock Holmes. The comedy, and I think it is intentional, or if not comedy, then at least the kind of like lightheartedness comes from the fact that Vader doesn't want to kill this guy, but he also kind of wants to kill this guy. And they're both trying to figure out where they stand with each other from before. And Vader keeps thinking like, should kill this guy, but he gives him a little bit more slack and a little bit more slack. And you can tell it's because Thrawn genuinely likes Vader. And that is not a feeling Vader has experienced in a very long time. So I guess it's sweet. A little bit.
Star-crossed lovers.
The one big flaw with the writing is Timothy Zahn is no Conan Doyle, okay? He's not as good at setting up mysteries that can be solved alongside his characters. The things Thrawn notices and prove that he is smart by deducing, no one could deduce. They all have to do with space nonsense and technologies that you couldn't possibly knew existed or how they worked. It's trying to be smarter than it is. We're told Thrawn is smart, and there's just not enough showing. And I've said this before, I think maybe about Thrawn, is that the challenge of having a really smart character who's really good at planning and deducing things is you have to come up with situations that can be deduced, and you have to be really smart yourself and deduce them. And I'm not great at that, and Timothy Zahn's not great at that. If you're along for the ride, It's a fun book. I like Thrawn. I like all the characters. I actually like all the characters. Everybody.
Even Vader?
I especially like Vader, but it's because he's humanized by Thrawn. And it is because he gets to be the big, imposing Vader. And there are times when Thrawn is finally like, kill them all. And you get to see Vader unleashed. And it's rewarding. And because you're allowed to root for him now. It's like seeing like the big dumb bruiser in the party finally get to do his thing. It's like seeing Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy go apeshit. It's great. But it's not just that. It's like the cat and mouse nonsense between Kimmond and Rook and Pharaoh constantly trying to navigate meetings with Vader where she knows he wants to kill her. and she's like really trying to like make a suggestion without literally dying or being demoted or anything like that. And all these people just sort of coming together to work together. I like it. The story is dumb. The plot is dumb. The plot is always dumb in these books. But this one saves it in the way it is told. So when I'm describing the plot, yeah, it's going to be funny. We're going to have a little fun at Timothy Zahn's expense. Did genuinely like it. There's just... there's one thing I can't remember right now. It's nettling me. I feel like there's one more thing I wanted to say. Maybe I'll tell a little story and we'll come back to it.
Okay.
Okay, so we should probably go back to Padme.
I guess, if we have to.
Padme's ship gets blown up. She's got to get into an escape pod. But it's okay.
That happened quick.
Yeah, it did, because I forgot what happened in between. So, she's crashing onto Mokivj, and... Are you okay? you want another one? You want... Mokivj!
Oh, that's some good shit.
You keep writing dumb words. I'm going to keep saying them dumb, Timothy. So, she's in the escape pod. She's jumping out of her ship, which is Dooge's ship, but she doesn't need it anymore. And she crash lands in a river, and there's all these separatist droids flying around looking for her. But it's okay, because she's in a river. They can't find her there. I guess they've got all these like god tier sensors, but they can't see her underwater, you know. And she's not detectable.
Oh, okay.
Back in Coruscant.
Oh, okay.
I skipped around. I realized I missed an Anakin chapter. There's an Anakin chapter before that Padme chapter. God. It's an important one, though. God, this is gonna be so long.
Are you thinking two-parter, Ben? Is that?
Oh, I don't want it to be. There's so much more shit.
Oh man, this is $11. It really paid for a lot, didn't it?
Editor Ben here. Yes, I must concur with Nate that $11 sure did pay for a lot. There is easily another hour left of this recording, and I'm going to have to, against my better judgment and deepest wishes, split this into 2 parts. So we will stop here. I guess I've divided the episode into the Batu and Mokivj arcs of the Thrawn Alliance's epic saga. It's like poetry. Rhymes. I don't know. Anyway, usual stuff. You can check us out on Twitter at WABpod. You can check us out on Instagram at Words About Books Podcast. If you don't want to talk to us on either of those and you still want to say something to us, you could drop us an email at wordsaboutbookspod@gmail.com. If you think we deserve something extra, if you really enjoy this content, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/WABpod. This very episode was funded by our coffee patrons. I guess they're not patrons. I guess you have to be a patron. I don't know. People who bought us a coffee, this is your fault. And there's a blog.wordsaboutbooks.ninja. You should check that out. I'll probably write something about this experience. So look forward to that. And I hope to see you all back next week because, as I have said before, it is kind of your fault. So, ta-ta. Okay, I'm going to need you to give me, like, your best a cappella Star Wars theme. I'm going to do a little opening crawl.
Oh, Jesus.
Don't worry, I'll auto-tune it.